We're in the end game now, boys. The final season, but not really the final season. It is now the year 854, so about a 3-year time skip from the ocean scene. The nation of Mali has been at war with the Mid-East Alliance for 4 years and therefore had to pause their mission to take the founding titan. The Mali fighting force consists mostly of Eldians under the command of Mali officers. A young soldier and candidate to take over the armored titan named Falco is deliriously injured on the battlefield. His comrades and fellow warrior candidates include Gabi, Zofia, and Udo. Gabi believes she will be chosen to inherit the armored titan because she is determined to exterminate the evil Eldians living on Paradis Island and prove that the Eldians living in Mali are the good ones. Falco's older brother Colt has already been selected to take over the Beast Titan, despite new anti-Titan technology closing the gap between Mali and the rest of the world. With some bold maneuvering by Gabi and the efforts of Titan Galliard, taken from Amir, Peak the Cart, Titan, Reiner, and Seek, Mali is able to win the decisive battle of the war. Despite this victory, Commander Magath is forced to admit that the era of the Titans is coming to an end because of technological advances. Seek suggests that they resume the Paradis Island operation to recover the founding Titan to buy time for Mali to develop better weaponry. On the train ride back to Liberia in Terman Zone, the place where Eldians are kept in Mali, Reiner asks Falco to work hard to inherit his Titan so that Gabi will not have to. They arrive and reunite with their families. As Falco helps a wounded soldier with his armband on the wrong side, Reiner recounts to his family the absolute horrors of Potato Girl. In a warrior meeting, Zeke says the Tibers and Eldian families are not hated by the rest of the world. We'll announce the plan to capture Paradis Island. They hold the Warhammer Titan and were influential in driving LD and King Fritz away to the island during the Great Titan War. We move to see Reiner's backstory of how he desperately wanted to become a warrior, an honorary Malian, so he could maybe get his father's approval and become an actual Malian himself. He succeeds in inheriting the armor. To the fury of Porco, who lost out, Reiner's father still casts him aside. The 4 child warriors trek through Paradis Island in an attempt to capture the founding Titan. Marcel reveals that he influenced the military's decision to make Reiner the armored Titan instead of Porco his brother because he wanted to protect Porco. Later on, Marcel saves Reiner from being eaten but gets himself devoured in the process, and thereby passing the Titan jaw to Amir. After an intense argument and fight over what to do, Reiner convinces Annie and Bertolt to continue with their mission. They smash through the walls, the starting points of the whole show. In the present, Reiner almost kills himself but gets interrupted by Falco unintentionally. Reiner watches him leave and receives some motivation to keep going. Falco gets stopped by a soldier with the armband issue from before. They chat for a little bit, and we see that the soldier is actually Eren Yeager in disguise as a man named Kruger. Kruger has Falco send letters on his behalf. Commander Magath meets with Willy, the head of the Tiber family, who are ruling Mali from the shadows. They agree to work together. At the hospital, Falco again meets with Kruger, who has a baseball mitt next to him. On the eve of the festival associated with the big announcement, Willy states that he will declare his solution for the Titan crisis tomorrow night. Following his theater production, the gang enjoys a fun day of festivities along with a lot of eating, and at night a big crowd gathers for the main event. Before it's about to start, Falco runs up and calls for Reiner, asking him to come along. He leads Reiner to a basement. When he introduces him to Kruger, Reiner is stupefied as he immediately recognizes who it actually is. Eren reveals a cut hand and says that he is the same as Reiner and that he does not have a choice. Reiner starts stressing. They listen to the play above them, which has already begun as an unnamed soldier tells the warriors that Commander Magath needs them and escorts Speak and Porco, but not Seek, to a room and traps them. Willy comes on stage and tells the story of how the Eldian Empire used the power of the Titans to wreak untold devastation and take over the world. He says how the Molian hero Helos joined with the Tibers to make King Kolfritz's fleet parody an island. In the basement, Falco starts to piece things together and realizes that Kruger is not really Kruger and that he must be from the island. Falco starts stressing. Above, Willy says that much of this story was a lie. The king left on his own accord because he was appalled by the violence and made a vow to permanently renounce war, which would continue through his successors. However, there was an uprising on the island. The founding titan has been stolen by a non-royal, and thus the vow does not hold. This usurper could activate the millions of colossal titans hiding in the walls. His name is Eren Yeager. Everyone starts stressing. Below, Eren says that he understands that there are good and bad on both sides and that Reiner, as a kid, could have done nothing about his brainwashing. He concludes he and Reiner are the same and says he will keep moving forward till his enemies are destroyed. Just as Willy shouts out his declaration of war, Eren spectacularly transforms and crushes Willy with his hand. Flinging his broken body into the air, we flash back to a previous discussion between Willy and Magath. They knew about enemies within their camp, so this announcement was all a bait to get them to attack. With the world watching, an attack from Eldia would unite the globe against them and help Molly. Willy realizes he will likely die. He does. Eren goes ballistic, and people are getting killed left and right, including Zofia and Udo. Gabby is horrified beyond belief. Willy's sister Lara transforms into the Warhammer Titan. It is freaking epic and can create objects with its hardening abilities. They start to throw down, and eventually Eren seems to have lost.
Finish him off! Usurper, Eren Yeager. Before you die, you may utter your final words.
Leaving his titan. But the revamped scouts fly in, killing Molly soldiers. And Mikasa does some damage to the Warhammer Titan. She also questions Eren's actions, as he just killed many civilians in his surprise attack. Jean, Corny, and Sasha also on the scene, engaging in battle. Sasha snipes down an officer talking to Gabby. They lock eyes, and Gabby races in to join the fight. Eren realizes the Titan did not materialize from its neck like normal, and figures out that the body is actually underground. He dives in and grabs the crystallized Lara Tiber and severs her connection to the Warhammer Titan as he's about to chop down Porco, who was able to escape the trap thanks to some quick thinking by Peak. He pounces in, ready to take the founding Titan, but for some reason he can't bite down. That reason is Levi Ackerman, who slashed the Jaw Titan's mouth right in the nick of time. The fight continues on as Peak and Zeke arrive. Falco climbs out of the hands of the armored Titan, but Reiner is not in a good mental state to fight. Falco meets up with Magath and Gabby out in the harbor as the Molian fleet is readying its reinforcements. In comes a tiny fishing boat with one passenger, Almond. He grits his teeth, and lightning strikes, awakening the god of destruction. The explosion from the colossal Titan's transformation annihilates the fleet, and its impact is felt far away. Back on the battlefield, Zeke is taken out from behind by Levi, and Peak is severely damaged as well. Porco sees all this and gets pissed. He charges in at Eren, who uses the crystal as a defense. Eren notes that Porco's claws scratched into it. While he himself could not bite into it, an escape airship scouts arrive, and Porco tries to take it down. But instead he gets taken down by Mikasa. Eren uses this chance to violently tear off Porco's limbs and then use its jaw like a nutcracker to break open the crystal. Porco is horrified, as he can do nothing but watch. As Eren uses his greatest strength against him, the crystal breaks, and Eren eats the warhammer. Gabi and Falco desperately yell out for Reiner to help. Reiner, who just wanted to die in peace, reluctantly transforms and then charges at Eren. Though Reiner takes a hit, he is able to rescue Porco, who would have been eaten next. Eren is out of energy, and they retreat to the airship. Levi kicks the crap out of Eren for going off on his own. Eren does not offer much resistance. Gabi follows in pursuit, and Falco chases after her. She kills a scout and uses his dangling ODM gear to climb onto the airship, along with Falco, who grabbed on at the last moment to protect her. As the scouts are celebrating, Gabi rolls in and shoots Sasha clean through. The kids are beaten, apprehended and taken inside. They are shocked to find their war chief, Zeke, sitting with the enemies. The soldier who trapped Peak and Porco is revealed to be Yelena, a devout follower of Zeke. Hanji is disappointed in Eren for his actions, putting the scouts in a position where they had to come save him. But Zeke argues that now they have both the founding titan and a titan of royal blood, which will make all the sacrifices worthwhile by granting freedom to Eldia. Corny comes in and breaks the news of Sasha's death. Eren asked Corny about Sasha's final words. Corny says it was meat, and Eren appears upset, though at first he started laughing. Jean blames Eren for Sasha's death because Eren had dragged the scouts into battle. We flash back to 3 years prior, a bit after the events of Season 3, Part 2, when Molly and ships arrive on Scout Paradis Island. But Eren is making quick work of them. One ship contains Yelena, who is surprisingly eager to work with them. Islanders, unlike the vast majority of the Molian soldiers, Hanji, Levi, Yelena, and another Molian soldier named Yakapon, discuss the situation. Some of these Molly soldiers are not really aligned with Molly but rather work in secret with Zeke. They call themselves the Anti-Molly and Volunteers, and their goal is to free the LDN people. Later, Hanji reports Zeke's plan to the government, saying that they need to put together the founding titan and a titan of royal blood. However, the full plan will only be revealed when the initial conditions are met, given who Zeke is and what he has done. There is a lot of doubt. However, Eren thinks that Zeke's plan technically checks out, recalling that the only time he could use the founding titan's power was when he touched a royal titan. This might be a loophole in the First King's vow to renounce war. The volunteers are integrated on the island, and some regular Molian soldiers also find work, including Niccolo, who is a chef. Sasha loves his cooking. In the present, people are at Sasha's grave mourning, including Niccolo and Sasha's father. He invites her father to have dinner one day where he works. Elsewhere, Levi is personally escorting Zeke to his hotel in the forest. Despite the anti-Molly and volunteer efforts, Pixis has them detained, and Armin pays a visit to Annie. Yep, she's still just there, chilling in her crystal. Eren is put in prison for his unilateral actions to attack Molly. Hanji walks in and can't believe that Eren would sacrifice Historia. She and the others do not understand why Eren went off on his own and put the whole island in grave danger. But this ain't no little boy. Season 1, Eren, as he tells Hanji that no prison can hold him now that he has the Warhammer. He asks what she can do or if they have any other plans. He menacingly teases a transformation, scaring off Hanji. We flashed back to years ago when the Eldians welcomed their first outside visitor, Kiyomi from Hizuru, the One Nation, on friendly terms with Paradis. Kiyomi meets the scouts and shows a crest to Mikasa, who has the same symbol tattooed on her wrist. Kiyomi explains that a century ago, the Shogun's son, friends with Karl Fritz, came to Paradis and left behind a child on the island. Mikasa is the lost descendant of Hisuru's leader. Kiyomi discusses with the rest how Eren Yeager made this arrangement possible. When she met with Zeke, he gave her ODM gear and explained that it needs a special fuel that is unique to Parody in order to work. Ice Burst Stone Zeke suggested that by helping Parody, Hizuru might be able to build an industry that would restore it to its former glory. Kiyomi then explains Zeke's 3 points to protect Parody. The first is a test run of the rumbling to show the world a sample of its power. The second is for Hizuru to strengthen the military of Parody. Lastly, the founding titan and a titan of royal blood must be passed down. Zeke would pass on his beast titan to someone of royal blood, and they must bear as many children as possible. Historia agrees, but Eren is against the idea of breeding livestock. He says the rumbling is too dangerous to gamble on, and they should explore other options. We move ahead 1 year from this point, so still 1 year in the past, and the gang's hopes to enter the world stage peacefully are dashed. Hizuru won't help them trade with other nations, and the rest of the world wants Parody to be evil. The gang says that the world is only scared because they don't know the Eldians firsthand. They discuss the possibility of infiltrating Molly and meeting the outside world, and Eren says he wants the best for his friends, causing everyone to blush with embarrassment. Armin shows off his quick wits, saying it's just the sun. In the present, we get a quick shot of a pregnant Historia, and our original gang discuss what is going on with Eren, if he's truly with Zeke, and how he's so different, willing to sacrifice anything and not seeming to care. Meanwhile, Gabby and Falco, who made it alive to the island thanks to John, escape from their prison cell. They are taken in by a girl named Kaya, the same girl Sasha saved in Season 2. They eat alongside her family, each group unaware of the other's true identity. Gabby has trouble interacting with people she believes to be devils. Kaya clues in that they are from Molly. Though they are not warriors, she takes them to the village where her mom was eaten alive. Gabby tries to say the evil Eldians deserve everything they get because of their past atrocities. But Kaya says her mom did nothing wrong. When emotions cool down, Kaya says she will bring them along to a restaurant where Molly works. Outside of military headquarters, a group of citizens gathers, wondering why Eren has been imprisoned. Hanji meets with the members of the scout regiment who leaked the information about Eren's imprisonment. Flock says they did it because Eren is their savior, as Mikasa takes one of those people to jail. A girl named Louise, whom she saved back in Season 1. The sight of her saluting brings on a headache and memories of when Eren rescued her as a child. Elsewhere, Pixis meets with Yelena. He brings up the fact that 10 months ago, the guard was watching her change to Flock. At the same time, Eren began making movements of his own, and now Flock has been detained for leaking information. Something is fishy. Back in Molly, they figure out from their investigation that Zeke is a traitor. They make moves to launch an immediate attack on the island, back to Parody, and Yelena admits that she did meet with Eren 10 months ago. She claims that Eren felt a similar urgency to act, but she did not specifically tell Eren to infiltrate Molly. She met him primarily out of curiosity. Pixis is suspicious of her story. Hanji questions Jacopone as well about Yelena secretly meeting Eren. He says he was unaware of this. At HQ, Mikasa and Omen meet with Zachary to request a meeting with Eren to sort everything out, but Zachary denies them. As they leave, a bomb goes off in his office, killing Zachary. In the aftermath, they figure out that it was likely a certain group of scouts who planted the bomb. And just then, MP reported that Eren had escaped prison. We see a yoked Eren meet up with his supporters, known as the Yeagers. Eren tells the flock to find out where Zeke is. The next day, the military convenes to discuss their situation. Hanji believes Yeager's goal is to reunite Eren and Zeke and then reform the military with Eren at its head. They were provoked by the MPs scheming to take the founder away from Eren. Without telling the scouts, Pixis arrives and says they should just surrender to Eren. A civil war would be too costly, what with the rest of the world ready to attack them because of what they just did in Mali. He does not plan for a complete submission but to use Zeke's location to negotiate. Meanwhile, we get a sneak peek of what's to come in the forest with the giant trees. Zeke explains to Levi how he gassed his spinal fluid to transform the villagers of Rogoko into titans 4 years ago. He says he did not want to do it, but it was necessary to prevent Molly from discovering his allegiance to Eldia. Levi still doesn't trust him, though, to say the least. A soldier breaks the news of Zachary's death, and Levi learns that the Yeager have taken control of the walls. As a likely part of a plan Zeke put together with Yolena and Eren. Outside the forest, Sasha's family, along with Gabby and Falco, went to that restaurant with a Malian worker. That worker is Niccolo. As he's preparing food, the scouts arrive and ask him some questions. They wait in a nearby room. When Niccolo goes downstairs, Gabby and Falco follow him below. Gabby excitedly tells Niccolo they are warrior candidates who snuck on an airship in Liberia. Niccolo asks if they killed a female soldier. Gabby happily says yes, but Niccolo is horrified, realizing she killed Sasha. He grabs a wine bottle and swings, but Falco pushes her out and takes the hit. A bit of wine gets into his mouth. Niccolo brings both of them back to the dining room and tells the family the entire situation. He says he will kill Gabby if Sasha's father does not. However, the dad is the real MVP and does not want to continue the cycle of hatred, which de-escalates the situation. Armand and Mikasa take Gabby to another room. Nicola reveals that he believes certain cases of wine were filled with Zeke's spinal fluid. Many high-ranking officers have drank it, and now Falco has ingested some as well. Suddenly, several young people, including Flock, show up, trying to find Zeke's location. Hanji refuses, but they have guns and handcuffs. It's revealed that Flock knew all along about the wine and spinal fluid situation. In the meantime, Eren casually walks into the other room with Mikasa, Armand, and Gabby. They are all shocked. Eren shows off his injured hand and says he just wants to talk. Armand asks if Zeke and Yelena are manipulating him, but Eren responds by saying he is acting on his own. He is free. Eren then accuses Armand of being manipulated, saying Bertolt has taken over his brain. Citing his frequent trips to see Annie, he then claims Mikasa is also essentially a slave, explaining that the Ackermans were a family created to serve the king of Eldia. He cites Mikasa's sudden power awakening as actually her following Eren's command, and that her headaches are a result of the dissonance of her true self fighting the desire to protect. He also says that he's always hated her, since childhood. Damn. Come on, bro. Armand lunges at Eren, but Mikasa instinctively and swiftly brings him down, only realizing what she's done after the fact before letting him go. Eren and Armand fight, but Armand is getting destroyed. Eren says that they never fought as kids because it would not have been fair. He wants them to tell him where Zeke is. In the forest, Zeke makes his escape, screaming to transform all the soldiers into titans. Levi, the one guy who did not drink the spinal fluid spiked wine, is left to battle his former friends. Zeke is on his getaway titan, but Levi quickly catches up to them and we're all set for the rematch. Zeke is not happy. Hilariously screaming never again, he transforms and rips apart a titan to use its skull as ammo. However, Levi cleverly cuts down branches to disguise his attack and then flies in, launching thunder spears into the beast titan's neck. Out of this titan, Levi drags Zeke away and eventually impales a thunder spears in his stomach. In a sudden movements, and it will detonate. For some reason, Zeke asks for his glasses, and we transition to his backstory. We see how he and his parents were discriminated against and how he was pushed so hard to become a warrior by his father, Grisha, but his heart wasn't in it, and he lagged behind the other candidates by quite a margin. He just wanted to be a kid and play, but instead he got constantly fed conflicting propaganda. Eventually, Zeke develops a father-son type of relationship with Tom Cassava, the beast titan at the time, who also engages in titan research. They initially bond over playing catch. One day Zeke overhears that the Malian authorities are very close to discovering the LD and restoration. He confides this to Cassava, who tells Zeke that he should turn in his parents. At least this way, perhaps Zeke and his grandparents could be saved. That's the way it turns out after Zeke turns in his parents, and after some time, Tom mentions to Zeke that the founding Titan has the ability to change LD and biology. This makes Zeke believe that the founding Titan could sterilize all aliens and prevent future generations from being born and suffering, as well as ridding the world of the Titans once the current Eldians die out. Zeke resolves to inherit the Beast Titan and recover the founding Titan from a person willing to go along with his plan, because Zeke could not use this power himself but rather only unlock it for someone else, and that someone else appears to be half-brother Eren. We see their meetup when Eren infiltrates Molly, and he agrees to go along with Zeke's sterilization plan. Cut back to the present, and Zeke starts suddenly jerking his head back, triggering the Thunder Spear to explode. Zeke's body is split in two, and Levi is also blown away. Please stay safe, Levi. Hanji, Flock, and the other Yeagers hear the explosion in the distance. Zeke appears to be dying and briefly sees an image of a girl. However, a pure Titan comes in, placing Zeke inside its belly and potentially saving his life. Yelena meets with our squad, who have been imprisoned, and explains Zeke's plan to them. Armin breaks down and cries, calling it "Oh noble." Yelena is moved. Eren then finds Gabby in a prison cell. He wants her to help lure out enemies who have infiltrated the island. However, speaking of, Peak walks in and places Eren at gunpoint, but he is completely unfazed, saying that she needs him alive to be captured. She agrees and backs off, but then explains that it would be in her best interest if she teamed up with Eren to defeat Molly. Gabby is not happy with this and points a gun at Peak. However, Peak explains that no matter how much they prove they are good Eldians, they will never be really free. Molly will kill them as soon as they are not useful anymore. Peak offers to prove her loyalty to Eren by pointing out her comrades from the roof. They make their way up with Peak, chained to Gabby, to dissuade Peak from transforming. Eren asks where the enemy is, and Peak turns, pointing her finger right at him suddenly, almost like a shark leaping out of the water. The Jaw Titan bursts through the roof, trying to eat Eren, but he doesn't fully get him, and Eren magnificently transforms. Gabby realizes that Peak did not actually betray Molly. Peak says that while she doesn't trust Molly as a whole, she does trust her friends. Up in the sky, we see 5 airships arriving, one of which has Magath, Colt, and Reiner ready for battle. Eren looks up from his Titan and tells Reiner to bring it on.